Welcome to Voice of Gender Studies. In today's video, we will explore the role of feminist theory in gender studies. From early feminist thinkers to modern perspectives, we will see how feminist theory shaped the foundation of gender studies as an academic discipline. What is feminist theory? Feminist theory provides a framework for analyzing gender inequality. It examines patriarchy, social roles, and power structures in society. As Rosemary Tong explains in her book, Feminist Thought, 2009, feminist theory is essential for understanding the roots of gender discrimination. Roots of feminist theory. The roots of feminist theory can be traced back to the Enlightenment and suffrage movements of the 18th and 19th centuries. Mary Wollstonecraft, in her famous work A Vindication of the Rights of Woman, 1792, demanded women's right to education and equality. This period is known as first-wave feminism. Simone de Beauvoir's The Second Sex, 1949, introduced a groundbreaking idea. One is not born, but rather becomes a woman. She argued that gender is socially constructed, and this concept became one of the most influential foundations of gender studies. Betty Friedan's The Feminine Mystique, 1963, criticized the limited domestic role of women in American society. Her work gave rise to liberal feminism, which called for women's full participation in education, work, and politics. Gender studies adopted many of these ideas in its early years. Radical feminism. Radical feminists argued that patriarchy itself is the root cause of women's oppression. Shulamith Firestone, in The Dialectic of Sex, 1970, emphasized the need to transform family structures and reproduction systems. This perspective deeply influenced gender studies by highlighting structural oppression. Socialist/Marxist feminism. Marxist and socialist feminists connected gender inequality to capitalism. Heidi Hartman's 1979 essay, The Unhappy Marriage of Marxism and Feminism, explained how economic systems reinforce patriarchy. This approach encouraged gender studies to explore the links between class and gender. Black feminism and intersectionality. Black feminists like Bell Hooks in Ain't I a Woman, 1981, challenged the exclusion of race and class from mainstream feminism. Kimberlé Crenshaw later introduced the concept of intersectionality in 1989, showing how race, gender, and class intersect. This became central to modern gender studies. Postmodern feminism. Judith Butler's Gender Trouble, 1990, revolutionized gender studies. Butler argued that gender is performative, not fixed, but constantly created through actions and behaviors. This postmodern feminist theory questioned the very idea of stable categories like man and woman. Queer theory and feminism. Feminist theory also gave rise to queer theory. Scholars like Butler and Eve Kosofsky-Sedgwick challenged binary understandings of gender and sexuality. This further expanded gender studies to include diverse identities beyond male and female. Feminist theory in research. Feminist theory also reshaped research methods. Sandra Harding, in The Science Question in Feminism, 1986, argued that knowledge must include women's perspectives and lived experiences. Gender studies adopted qualitative methods, narratives, and case studies to give voice to marginalized groups. Influence on education and policy. Feminist theory also influenced education and global policy. Concepts of gender equality were integrated into school curricula and development programs. UNESCO's Global Gender Report, 2015, highlights how feminist theory shaped international gender mainstreaming policies. Criticisms of Feminist Theory. Despite its impact, feminist theory has faced criticism. Chandra Mohanty, in her essay Under Western Eyes, 1894, argued that Western feminism often ignored the realities of women in the global South. This pushed gender studies to become more inclusive and globally diverse. In conclusion, feminist theory is the foundation of gender studies. From Simone de Beauvoir to Judith Butler, feminist thinkers shaped academic debates and policies worldwide. Feminist theory continues to evolve, ensuring that gender studies remains a dynamic and critical discipline. What do you think? Which feminist perspective has the strongest impact on today's society? Share your thoughts in the comments.